Um, I welcome you all to the part 3 of chapter number 8, Body Movements. In previous session, we studied the different types of joints. In that, we have seen four types of joints: ball and socket joint, hinge joint, pivotal joint, and fixed joint. Yes, as I explained you, fixed joints are present in the skull. Then ball and socket joints are present in a shoulder and in a hip. Hinge joint is present in elbow and in knees. Then pivotal joint is present in a neck. In today's session, we'll study about the human skeleton system in detail. All the bones in our body forms a framework to give shape and support to our body, and this framework is known as skeleton. Skeleton performs very important function. It protects our internal organs from the injury. It also helps in the movement of the body. And we know that in human beings, the system is made up of 206 bones and a few cartilages. Okay, now let's study about the human skeleton in detail. But before that, I wanted to just ask you a question, that how do you know that the shape of this human skeleton, or how do we know the shape of the different bones in our body? You can get a rough idea about your bones or about the shape of your bones by feeling it. And the accurate picture of the bones in our body is provided by X-ray images. With the help of X-ray images, we got to know that the shape of human skeleton system. Yes, isn't it? So let's move forward and study about human skeleton in detail. First, we'll study about skull. Skull is made up of 22 bones joined together. It encloses and protects a very important part of our body, that is brain. See how delicate the brain is. The skull acts as a natural helmet to our brain and protects our brain, which is very important part of our body. Skull also protects our eyes, ears and nose. It gives shape to our head, and we already know that all bones of skull are immovable except lower jaw, right? Because all of them have fixed joint except the joint where the lower jaw is connected to the rest of the head. Okay, now moving forward, let's now talk about the rib cage. There are 12 pairs of ribs. There are 12 pairs of ribs. This is your rib cage. Ribs join to the chest in front and backbone in the back side, and together they form a box, a cage-like box structure. As you can see, 12 pairs of ribs. These ribs are joined together in front to the chest bone. Here, this is your chest bone, and these ribs are joined in the back to the backbone. This is your backbone. Chest bone is also called as sternum, and backbone is called as vertebral column. So together they are forming a cage-like structure, and this cage-like structure is known as rib cage. Some important internal parts of our body lie protected inside this cage. For example, our heart and lungs are the important organs which are protected by this rib cage. As you can see here, there are 12 pair of bones that forms ribs. In front, they are joined to the chest bone. So this chest bone, this is the chest bone. In front they are attached to the chest bone, and back side, this is your long back vertebral column, and back side these bones are attached to this backbone, which we call as vertebral column. These ribs and our heart and our lungs are protected inside this rib cage. Okay, as you can see that the 12 pair of ribs are joined in front to the chest bone, which we call as sternum. And in the next image, this is the back side of our body. In this you can see that all the ribs are attached to this backbone at the back side. This is called as vertebral column. Now we will study about the backbone or spine or vertebral column in detail. As you can see in this picture, your backbone, this is your backbone, and it runs from your neck to your hip. It is made up of 33 small bones called vertebrae placed vertically upon each other. Here, these are the 33 vertebrae which are placed vertically one above each other, and it runs from your neck to your hip. And children, it is made up of 33 small bones called vertebrae, and these bones are placed one above the other vertically, and each one of them is known as vertebrae. Now, the major function of this backbone is the protection of spinal cord. Yes, as you can see that this yellow one, this yellow shaped structure forms the spinal cord, and backbone protects this spinal cord. The spinal cord which is present inside the hollow cavity of our backbone. Spinal cord provides main support to our body. It allows us to stand upright, bend and twist. It is main support system of our body. Also shoulders, bones, ribcage and hip bones are all joined to this backbone. As you can see image, your shoulder bones, your ribcage and your hip bones all are joined to your backbone. This is your backbone. Okay. Now let's study about shoulder bone. Human body has two shoulders, left and right side of your neck. Shoulder bone is formed by collarbones, which we call as clavicle, and the shoulder blade, which is called as scapula. Here on the screen, the yellow part shows the shoulder bone. It has two parts: collarbone. This is your collarbone. This you can see here on the both sides, and this one is your shoulder blade, which we call as scapula. Here, children, as you can see here, the collarbone is the curved bone. Yes, and next we'll see about shoulder blade. As your upper arm, this is your upper arm bone, is joined to your shoulder bone by ball and socket joint. Here you can see this is your upper arm and this is your shoulder blade, and both of them, they are joined here by the ball and socket joint. Now next we'll study about the pelvic bone. This is your pelvic bone. Yes, children, this is bowl-shaped structure at the lower end of the spine to which our legs are attached. Yes, as you can see here, our legs are attached to the pelvic bones. Now, pelvic bone encloses the portion of the body below the stomach. Here, this is the part we sit on. Okay, as you can see in this picture, your pelvic bone connects to the spine and to the legs at hip joint. It protects the bladder, both large and small intestine, male and female reproductive organs. So this is the main important function of the pelvic bone, that it protects the bladder and protects your large and small intestine. It protects your reproductive organs, and this is the part on which we sit. So pelvic bone is very important in our body. Now let's talk about cartilage. We have already studied about cartilage. Cartilage is a smooth tissue. Now your children, touch this part of your ear and this part of your earlobe. Yes, you will feel a significant difference. This part of your ear is quite soft as compared to this part of your upper ear, which is not as soft as your earlobe, but not as hard as a bone. This is because cartilage is present in the upper part of your ear. Similarly, it is also present in your nose, on both sides, left and right side of your nose. cartilage is present. You can feel that by touching your nose. It is the part of the skeleton that are not as hard as bones and which can be bent are called cartilage. Now, we already know that cartilage is also present in the joints. We studied about this, that the friction created due to the movement of bones is reduced by the presence of cartilage. And we also know that cartilage is present in the vertebrae or backbone. We studied about this vertebrae. There are 33 vertebrae which are placed one above the other, and the cartilage is present in between them. We can say that cartilage is present in our nose, ear, joints between the vertebrae or backbone. Okay, now next remaining part of our skeleton system as muscle, that I will explain you an online session, and along with that I will explain you about the movements in animals. Okay children, till then, goodbye children, take care.